Hello and welcome back. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, Paint with Gloria. Now let's get started. So let's start with a mixture of raw sienna, burnt sienna, a ditch of black, and just maybe a pin size of magenta. All those pretty colors in there. So we're going to start on the top. Just a mixture. All those colors. Okay, we're gonna give this a shot. Let me start with telling you the colors I'm using. Burnt umber and burnt sienna, yellow ochre, white, red, yellow, and some black. That doesn't mean I won't be adding more colors to this palette, but for now this is what we're going to start with. So let's do the tabletop, and we're going to start with the burnt umber. So I want the table to be about here. So this is going to be the table. There we go. And I'm going to be mixing the burnt sienna and burnt umber, and maybe a touch of white, just to get different kind of browns in here. Supposed to be some sort of table, some kind of stand to hold the three kings, because what we're going to do is we're going to put three kings here, because in my island of Puerto Rico we celebrate the three kings el Día de los Tres Reyes, which is the first week of January. Wonderful holiday. So we're going to do the three kings, and let me show you a picture of a painting I did a few years ago of three kings. They are on horses, except that we're not going to do the horses. We're just going to do three kings, and we're going to put them right here on this tabletop. If you want to check out my paintings, you can always visit www.artistbarreto.com. That's where you'll see all my originals and prints, in case you're interested. If not, I'm just happy to have you here and painting along with me. Yeah. So we're going to do one about here. Okay, it's hard to tell, so let me use a little darker. Okay, so this is gonna be one. There you go. This is gonna be two, and this is like the three kings but in wood, and that's a souvenir you usually find in the island of the three kings. There we go. Very windy out and cold. It's getting cold. We had a cold front come in last night, which caused a tornado here. So we'll be having some cold weather for the next 7 days. So we're going to put this one here, just so that we have an idea of where we're going to put the keys. So that will be 1, 2, and 3. Let's say a crown, okay? This is 1. And 2. Here's another crown. And we're going to make this one a little wider. Want it to be different. Okay. And we're going to put another one here. And we'll decorate those in a few. Let me put a little bit of definition in that. So I'm going to take some black. Okay, we're going to define and I'm using my liner. Same thing. I'm doing all the same thing in all of them. And this will be a nice painting to start with if you've never painted before. Of course, I would say it's pretty easy. Doesn't require a lot of different paints. So we're gonna do the back. So this one has one here, one here. And we'll color that in a second. Okay, same thing here. A little bit here. Now we can clean the brush and put some yellow in there. Yellow ochre. Same thing here. Same thing here. And grab some more. I think I heard a duck. I don't know where that came from, but I heard a duck. Or it could just be my sunshield outside being blown by the wind, making all these strange noises. But it did sound like a duck. But I'm sure I haven't seen any ducks here. A little bit more yellow. Okay, cleaning my brush. Let's put on their robes. And I'm gonna take a small brush, maybe a 1/8 flat brush, and I'm going to start by giving this one, let's give him a green robe. What do you say? This is a green robe. This is a green robe. Very simple. We're gonna leave some space there for the beard. And remember, this is not gonna be a realistic king, because these are made out of wood. Doesn't have to be perfect. There you go. We're going to clean our brush and move on to the next one, giving these a chance to dry. So I'm going to do the same thing here. We're going to give this one a red one. You want them all to be different. You don't want them all the same. Okay, so let me color that in. Here, a little bit more here. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, let's move on to the third one. And what color are we gonna give that one? What are we giving a blue one? Let's do a blue one. The blue one, we're going to start here, and we're going down, start here, and we're going down again. This is their robe, the king's robe. Depending on your children's age, this might be one that you might want to tackle with them. Okay. So far so good. At least I think so. Okay, we're going to just be creative. So we're going to put a gem on this one here. We're going to put a gem here on this one. Make it a little more rounder. A little gem here. Okay. Let's see. Let's give them a blue one. A blue gem here. Tab, 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 tab. Little bit here. Tab, tab. Just filling in the colors. I'm gonna give this one, well, it's too wet, so let me dry my brush a little better than that. Okay, I'm gonna do this. The same thing for this one. I'm going to put in a bit of yellow there. Yellow. Yellow. Just to be different. And yellow. And yellow. A little bit of red got in there, which is okay. It looks orangey. That's okay. I'm going to put on some, let's see, we're going to do, is it dry? No, it's wet, so we can't do the beard yet. But we can do the eyes. So let me see, I want to get a real fine, a small, fine liner, probably 1/4. So we're going to put in, let's see, we're going to put in an eye, and eye, eye, and eye. It's kind of light, so I'm going to put a tab of black in there just to kind of make it stand out a little bit more. There you go. Same thing for you. Let's do for you again. Okay, and then let's go down for the nose. Now for the nose. Now for the nose. And here. Here. Let me see if I can make them smile. This one looks like it's smiling a little bit. Okay, because they should be happy. There you go. They should be happy. There you go. Okay, now what I'm going to do, since I have my brown with me, is I'm going to put in their hands. Lighten that up. Okay, so you won't see much of the hands, because in the hands they're going to be holding something. They're actually going to be holding the gifts. So let's just say those are the hands, which you probably won't see because we're going to cover them with the gifts. So there you go. And one more. On this one, I'm going to put a color in there. I'm going to give them some magenta. A magenta color right there. beautiful. Okay, now the part of the robe is going to be, let me put that a little bit lighter. For him is going to be just enough. Here we go. It's like a base. And then I should give it a little bit of darker shadow. So let me do that now. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, my brush. I'm going to do the same for this one. So we're going to give them a green, tab of white, because we want it to be a little lighter. Same thing. This is his base. We want a little darker here. Wonderful. Okay, and then for the red base, because they need something on the bottom to hold them up, right? Okay. Base. I like to tell my grandchildren about the three kings. Something I want them to know about, or something them to share with their own children. Here we go. And a little darker here on the left. Just to kind of give it a little bit of shadow. A little bit more. Okay, then I'm gonna, while I'm at it, I might as well put a little shadow under them. Shadow in the back. Okay, clean my brush. Okay, put a little bit of brown in there since kind of took it away. There you go. tab darker, a tab darker, little tab darker. There you go. Okay, let's see. Hopefully the faces are dry enough for the beers. Let's see. That might be too big. Let me see. Get a smaller one. And I'm gonna add a little bit of gray in the beer. Okay. So let's tab going up, tab, tab, tab. There you go. We're going to a little bit more grayish to this one here. I'm making them my own. Whether they had long beards or not, it doesn't matter. They just represent the three kings. And I'm just tapping. Tapping, tapping, tapping. And then on the last one, let's see here, a little bit. There you go. A little bit. There you go. His won't be as long. Let me take a smaller brush. Where's my, okay, is it in the water? Nope, it's on my lap. I just wanna, let's see, I just wanna make this one in the middle kind of a little tanner than the rest of them. There you go. Now let's add the gifts. We're going to start with the white so they can stand out. Okay, so this one has some kind of box. Okay, we have to wait until it dries a little so that we can put the other color on it so it can show, because it picked up some of that red. So let's do the same for this one. Okay, and the same thing for this one. Okay, let's see. Is this one dry? Somewhat. Okay, the three kings have gifts. Also, what I'm going to put in front of these three kings is, okay, let's see. The red, let's start with the red. Let's see, right about here. You're gonna wonder what I'm doing. You'll see. Red. Do the white because I know that the white's gonna pick up the color in the back, so we need time for it to dry. So let's do this. this again. Do the red. Come back when it dries and put in the colors again. Have you figured out what I'm doing yet? Last minute thought. This is something I'm going to be displaying this Christmas season. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some white here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, with one of my brushes, show you something. I'm wetting my brush, and what I'm going to do is this. Clean my brush, get some of that color out of there with a wet brush. And what I'm doing is I'm lifting some of that color that I put in there. See how that works? I'm going to flip my canvas and put it down here so you can see what I'm doing. I just want to even these lines up. Even it out. Even it out. Okay. The same with the white, making sure my brush is dry, because I don't want it to turn pink. I want it to be white. Same thing here. Flip it, get that paint off the brush. Okay. And because it's almost dry, we're going like this. Pick up some more. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some blue in here. So let me grab that blue. Put it on my palette. Because again, this was the last minute. Though I didn't know I was going to do this, but it seemed right. Seemed just right. See, what's happening is everything is wet, so it's hard to stick when something's wet. So I'm going to give it a few minutes and then come back when this is dry and we can finish it. There you go. And when we give it that last coat, it'll be perfect. And then it'll be dry enough to put in the star in there as well. But what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to define this by adding a little black here. Okay, here, flip it, How's that? I think it's beautiful. Now let's put in with the same brush. Make sure it's dry. I'm just gonna put some color in these boxes so it can look like special gifts. There you go. Just make it your own. Okay, that's one. Let's do a blue. These are all just coming out of my head. I don't have anything to go based on. I just painted it before, and like I said, I painted this one before, and it's been a few years, but it's almost the same concept. Just gotta make it into your own. There you go. Going across. Just make them look pretty. And the last one, I think I'm gonna make the last one yellow. Running out of yellow. Picking up some black here, but it's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. It might turn orange because I just picked up some red, which is, again, is okay. Just looks pretty. There you go. Let's touch. It's still wet. Still wet. But you know what? I'm gonna add that star anyway. And then I just might have to go back twice to put in the white, because it might still be wet and it'll pick up some of that blue. How's that? Doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, this is supposed to be 3 carved keys in a piece of wood. What do you think? I think they look lovely. Well, guys, thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. May God bless you with good health, joy, and happiness, communication with your family. God bless. Stay safe. Adiós, amigo. Feliz Navidad, mi gente. Dios me los bendiga.